When you are ready to cut up your abstract paintings, you are going to be cutting up enough squares and triangles to fill your book. So you need a front cover. There's going to be an image on the front cover. That's one square. On the inside, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. You also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 triangles. But since triangles are squares that are cut in half, the 12 triangles are really 6 squares. So if you add the 6 squares plus the 4 that are kept together, plus the cover, that is 11 squares. I have a template. They look like this. I have a whole bunch of them. I marked them 3.5 inches cutouts. It's the same type of board that we used for our cover. However, you can see it's much smaller, so don't get the two confused. Okay, and as you can see for the front cover, it'll make a nice size in the front cover. As you see on the inside, when you cut them out, it will fit quite nicely on each of these pages as well. So here I have my paintings. I had advised that you do 3 or 4 paintings so that you can cut them up, choosing exactly where you want it to be. If you only have the 2, this was the minimum, then what happens is if you kind of count it out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, it's pretty much taking up all of the paper. So I can't pick the middle at a weird angle, or even at some of the other areas at the weird angle. If I really don't like a part, it's hard to avoid it. So you do limit your options. What you're gonna do is take a pencil and you're going to start tracing. Trace lightly because you don't want to see the pencil in the end. Okay. And you're going to trace 11 squares. Then you're going to cut them out. Okay, so I have cut out my squares. Now, if you were pausing in between this step and the next step for the day, make sure you write your name on each of these, just in case they fall out. Depending on how many papers you made, you might have some good scraps. Some of it might be too small to use for something else, but some of them might still be nice. You could always use it for something else. Maybe you collage it together to make a new project, or I have some papers that you can collage them onto to make bookmarks. So toss if you want, keep if you think you might use them. But for our actual projects, I now have my 11. Now, I like to go through them and pick my favorite square for the cover. Personally, I don't know why, I just really like this one. So this one would go on my cover. Okay, but before I glue it, I am going to decide the rest of my layout just in case I change my mind. So at this point, you can kind of lay out your explosion book and start to figure out where things might go. Okay, now I like to do this without glue first so that I can rearrange if I need to. Now for the triangles, since they are gonna be cut up, before I decide, I like to just kind of think, do I want the triangles to have halves of the same, or do I want to swap them with others? depending on how many colors you have, what's my layout, what's my arrangement. So I take a few minutes and I like to arrange these. These are the ones that I've decided will become my triangles. So the way that you make these triangles, first decide which way they're going to be cut, which diagonal you're going to choose because you're not doing both. Then you're going to take a ruler. I like to flip them upside down so that it's easier to see the pencil marks. And you're going to carefully line your ruler up corner to corner. Make a line, and you're going to do that for all of these, and then you're going to cut them. When it's time to start gluing, always put the glue on the smaller objects, the smaller paper, which is the cutouts. Make sure you go right to the edge. That's why we're using scrap paper underneath. And make sure as you're lining these up, that they are nice and straight with a good even amount of black all the way around. Okay. And put some pressure and hold to let it set. Okay. Now triangles are the same thing. You're just gonna go right there. And you want to make sure that you did not accidentally cover any of the folds, that they still fold nicely. And you keep going. As you go, if you notice any corners or parts are sticking out, make sure you add glue and hold it. You don't want to have any edges or corners popping up. You want it to all be glued nice and flat. Here we have the inside finished gluing. Now make sure it's all glued down and no glue is peeking out before you close it. Sometimes you might need to help it bend again and refold. It should explode out. Now it's time to do the front cover. Same thing. Make sure it's nice and straight, nice border around, and put pressure. And I have my exploding book. I want to close it, I can close it up. I want to open it, it opens. On the back cover, make sure you write your name. Now, I'm using a pencil right now, but you might want to use a Sharpie or a metallic Sharpie if it's a darker color. It's really up to you. And remember, this will be showing, this is your final piece, so don't write it messy. You can write it nice and neat. You can do a signature as well. I need to be able to read it though. And what I need to be able to see is your name, your class number, and your unit written on the back. And then if you wanted to decorate the back at all, you could do that as well. And that's your book.